Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to whoever is watching on early morning on a Wednesday. Or is today Tuesday? Today is Tuesday. This song came on I guess Spotify or YouTube or something like that yesterday, and I was like, man, I remember this tune, and this is a cold-blooded tune, but it got me thinking about how much we can learn from just simple tunes. I don't know, man. For me, the bass guitar and how it works in its traditional role is what really attracts me to the instrument. So, having said that, I want to take a look at the scale, and I'm gonna leave this live up, and then I'm gonna move it shortly. But the key is G flat major. I'm playing a 5 string on purpose. I'm sure it's a 4 string on the recording, played with a pick probably. Let me get you some more light here. So there's our key of G flat in one position in that box, and then we're gonna also look at it like this. We'll also look at it from here. All right, so, and if we do that, we can also do it that way as well. If we continue, we get the shape that we started with before. 2 octaves. What does that do for us? Why do we even bother with that visual anchor point? Well, let's look at the chart. Now, I am using Songmaster. I talk about it all the time. I made this chart using Songmaster, and this is the vibe of the tune. One of the things that I really enjoy about this software is that you get this visual representation of the form, right? Side note. But so G flat. If we're in the key of G flat is 1, right? So we got 2 bars of G flat, then we got a B major 7. What is B in the key of G flat? It's 4. And then we've got D flat, and we're not going to concern ourselves so much with the sus4 part. What we're going to do is concern ourselves with the root movement right now. D flat is 5. So 1, we've got 1 for 2 bars, 4 and 5. So far so good, right? Basic stuff, but how does that sit on the instrument? Here's 1. There's 4, and then there's 5. Cool. Let's look at the scale somewhere else. Here's 1. Where could I find 4 on the same string? There's 4. So if that's 4, then this must be 5. Remember I said the scale here? Now, there's one thing. So there's this visualization, right? But what about one of the bedrocks of of playing of music, pop music, eighth notes? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and this groove is all eighth notes. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to play with the drums and talk a little bit about that. Now I'm doing this all on 1 string. So what's the technique piece in there? alternating fingers. But now let's say I want to play 1 on the E string, 4 on the A string, and 5 on the A string. Now I got string crossing. And it might sound simple. But again, this is like this is bread and butter stuff. And ain't nothing wrong, ain't nothing ever gonna be wrong with bread and butter, just like there's nothing wrong with all the flashy stuff. It all has its place, right? But more often than not, here's a fretting hand technique, the pressure roll. If you are on a 5 string, now we've got muting considerations. All this stuff, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, you can take it or not take it. This song was hot. I might have been, I don't know, I was in middle school or something like this. So it would have been things like this that became, that were a part of my group of teachers, if you will. Songs like this, right? You learn this chord progression and how to address this chord progression. You've got like 1,000 other songs at your disposal. Let that sink in. There's so many songs that are popular songs, well-known songs. I mean, this is formulaic, yes, but whatever, right? So it was also a big hit. Let's talk about that. Very common shape, a look, a lick, whatever. 1. So that's 5, 6. Hammer on to 1. Right? So let's put a little bit more instrumentation in here, just enough to, let me take a sip of this coffee is what I need to do. Just enough instrumentation to not get us in trouble with the copyright folks. Well, this may be too much. And in this verse, I know that there are vocals. So knowing that there are vocals there, like if I were recording, doing a session where the vocals weren't there yet, what I would do is record my part. And what I do, the last few remote sessions that I've done, have had vocals on them, but times when I've gotten tracks that didn't have vocals, I'll do a couple of different tracks. I'll do one that is at least one that's got as much space as possible for those vocals. What's up, Wayne? And then I will give some, give other alternative tracks that have a little bit more movement on them. And that way the producer can do whatever they want. They can chop up and do whatever they want. So it doesn't matter that this is a pop song, right? It doesn't even matter if you like the genre or the song or the artist or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just, it's just music. So what did I add there? just went up the scale. Now going into the pre-chorus is going to 6. And let's talk about the 6th chord for a second. If we're talking music theory, right? So here in the that's wrong. That should be a major 7. And maybe just a major. That E minor, that E flat minor, Wayne asks, do I print compression on the track or leave it raw? 9 out of 10 times I'm going to, or maybe 8 out of 10 times, I'm going to give the producer the rawest thing possible so that they can do whatever they want with it. It's just like a haircut. You can always take some off, but not put some back on. I don't know if that was a good analogy, but you know what I'm saying. I want to give them the raw thing so they can do their thing on it. So that every major scale has a relative minor. And it starts on the 6th. And it will have a feeling of longing or, I don't want to call it angst, but that 6th chord coming off of when you've been in a major thing for a while. There's all of a sudden this longing. And when I used to play at not Acts Full Gospel, at True Fellowship years ago, this is before I got my theory thing together. I didn't know, but we would do an intercessory prayer, and in the amen corner with the church musicians, the organist would point at me. He would point at the people who would cry almost on cue whenever we went to the 6th chord, because that 6th chord just I'm not one of the smart guys, so I don't I'm just effing around, but that 6th chord has so much weight and emotion. So anyway, what I did, that was a long explanation, unnecessarily long probably. So what I did was I added that D natural in there. That chromatic note gives just a little bit of tension to get into that to get us back into that kind of emotional pre-chorus, and then we go back to the thing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit more movement. Before I do that, I said I was going to show this on 5 as well. So let me do that. I'm just going to play just the roots, and then I'm going to add more movement into the line, maybe even too much movement. Verse. See how everything dropped down? I'm gonna play G flat on the 5 now. Too much. I'm purposely doing stupid stuff. Back to the pre-chorus. Sometimes if you're learning your scales and stuff like that, and you say, oh, this song is in this key or that key, and you just want to practice your scales and like discover things on your bass, if I'm saying that correctly, you can do it over a track like this, and it starts to come together in a different way, I think. You know? Here's the pre-chorus. I'm goofing. Seeing those triads. I'm gonna loop that section. I just want to stay on that for a second. So we're going from 1 to 4 to 5. Now, you've heard this before. You've heard 1, 4, and 5 before. A lot, right? You've heard that terminology. If you played bass or watched YouTube for any length of time, you've heard that. So now, what are the chord qualities for the 1, the 4, and the 5? The 1 is major. That's one way to address that triad. The 4 is major. That's one way to address that. Now, but that chord is a sus4, so we can play that root, eliminate the third, basically. So, but we're just going to keep it simple and play the triads, right? Right? Now, just those root position triads, how else could we play those triads if we've gone through, discovered, made some discoveries about the scale? How else could we play those triads? And then what happens is you start to see them in different places. Does that make sense? But in the context of some real music. So that's that visualization piece that I was talking about, right? But also space. So I told you I was playing. Obviously, I was playing too much. I was going to purposely play too much. But now let's look at or think about restraint. Right? Knowing that there are vocals here, Listen to the production. Well, let's talk about it. Got some pads in there. Got the arpeggiated guitar. Drum is holding that steady backbeat. Pads are gone. Space for the vocals. Then you got that undercurrent with the bass. This is our job as bass players. The link between rhythm and harmony. On the pre-chorus, we got the little. Okay, there's another example right there. Remember I told you how emotional that 6 chord is? You got the Nashvilleian, I call it the Nashvilleian whiny guitar. It sounds like somebody crying. You hear it? What's up, Chevy? So you hear that right there, and it's all of these things are playing their part, right? Every instrument is a character. But let me know that in the comments, how many instruments do you think are playing right now? I've always believed that a song you should hear the song with just bass and drums, right? So you should be able to still hear it. The listener. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Right? Chevy asks a great question. This is a fantastic question. Do bassists double the track? Sometimes. PD Bass just did a great video. Well, I don't know when he did it on Nasty Girl by Vanity 6. And there's like 3 different bass parts, but not necessarily bass guitar parts. You know what I mean? Everybody talks about like Prince doing, 3 basses on Alphabet Street. And I don't even think about them as 3 different bass lines. I think about Prince just adding character with the bass guitar. But sometimes bassists do. And it's interesting that you say that. There's a tune that I used to play with Zigaboo. Funky Miracle. Listening back to that, it almost sounds like there's another bass track that's happening, but what I think may have happened is they may have recorded and then recorded over, and the remnants of the other bass track are there. I don't know if that's a fact, but that's what it sounds like. Anyway, let's get back to this. So I enjoy playing with a singer-songwriter. I really do. I enjoy playing. So here we are, holding it. Alternating. Now for me, depending on what bass I'm playing, I may do I may switch to palm muting, depending on the room, what's going on. There's that 5. Rush that. Now, I would not, if I were playing with an artist or recording, I wouldn't play that much. Space. May add something here, a little something. Again, that chromatic note. Something right there would be appropriate because we're going into a bigger section. Everything's bigger now. So we can add more movement there. Bridge. A flat. So there was a 2-5, essentially a 2-5-1. So when we went to the bridge, diatonic harmony, and this stuff counts. Songs like this, you learn this shit. You got like 1,000 different songs under your fingers. I promise you. Okay, maybe not 1,000, but you got a lot, right? You got a lot of songs. This stuff is textbook. So A flat is what? In the key of G flat. That would be 2. If we're just talking about the roots. So we're taking the roots and the color of it has changed because 2 in the key of G flat would be minor. In the key of, in any key, 2 is minor. But it's been changed here to a, the color is changed to a sus4. And you feel it. You feel that chord. A minor chord is would have a different feeling. Let me show you. So let's change that sus4 to a minor. It's kind of the same, but the sus4 gives it a little more like, ooh, I want to go somewhere. I want to do something else, right? More than the minor chord does. It's just that subtle, it's that subtle songwriting thing, right? Composer thing. So A flat sus4. We go to the B. What did we say the B? B is the 4, right? And then we have D flat, which is our 5, going back to the 1. So essentially, I said a 2-5. It's kind of a 2-5. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. So it's 2-4-5. Okay. But you still, that's the same, right? It's the same thing. It's a similar thing, sorry. Going to the 4. And now that we have those scale shapes, we can play. Our bridge, sorry. Wasn't looking. You can play around with, you can play around with your chromatics. Not that you would play this. But if you're so concerned about the right notes to play that you don't experiment with the wrong ones, then how will you ever know? You know what I'm saying? How will you ever know? You know, it's like being a kid when you're like I was telling a fellow educator at a tech conference that I went to last week about, I taught music. I taught K through 12. And what I noticed about like second and third grade was a great spot for me, right? But when kids like kindergarten through like almost fourth grade, like the beginning, like the first couple of weeks of fourth grade, kids are fearless. They ta ti ta whatever. And then around fourth grade, they start looking at their peers and wondering, you know what I'm saying? And so like, I think that happens with all of us. We start to lose our curiosity. And so my whole point to say is, would you necessarily play that? I don't know. I mean, maybe if it were appropriate at the time. I mean, would you play that would I play that in a session? Maybe not. You know what I'm, it would depend. It would depend. So, I ain't trying to sell you nothing or whatever you use. However, whatever you use, you use. I do have links in the description. What I do have in the description, though, that I would like you to check out is I have a little bit of a questionnaire that is helping me to create better content for you guys. So if you wouldn't mind, it'll take you just a couple of minutes to answer some questions in the questionnaire. Again, help me make better content for you. Shit, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying, Chevy? Wayne? What was I saying? Jeffrey? What was I saying? Senior moment. Let me have some more coffee. That's what I was saying. Get, software like Songmaster or whatever it is you use, is one of the best ways for you to learn this instrument. Because this instrument ain't that hard to play. It really isn't. Some of the things that you spend a lot of time looking on YouTube for, that should be right under your fingers, and it's right in the music that has, it's in hit songs. It's in music that's been around forever. But this is one of the hardest things for people to do. Beginner and intermediate players, they always want to do this, which has its place. And this has its place. There's times when I there's that, and then there's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and, as I said in the beginning, a bedrock staple of bass playing, of music, period, is the eighth note. You know what I mean? It's a staple. So why not find ways to play it, right? I'm going to shut up. I just want to play through this song, and then that's what I want to do. You take out the bass, playing all on one string. When I first started, I said I was going to shut up. When I first started playing, I was scared to play on another string. that a little bit more. Verse. Play that whole thing on one string. B. Even when you goof like I just did, you get right back on track because you know what neighborhood you're in, right? Bridge. Got your 5, add that B. Might be a little much on a song like this. No matter what my friends say, listen at all. I'm telling you, learn shit like this. You got 1,000 songs under your fingers. Gospel, rock, R&B. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. All right. So, yeah, man, I appreciate y'all watching. Again, just recap: G flat major. There's G flat. Learn at least 2 ways to address those major scales. On a 5 string, that's the same shape as this. What's the benefit of the 5? Watch this. I got 2 octaves right there, as opposed to there's a, so that position, that positional thing. What am I thinking? It's a positional thing. But really, with a 5 string, you get 5 extra notes. Superstitious Hermit. I'm sorry. What do I wire my 4 strings with? Wire your 4 string with the same thing. Dunlop, Nichols. These are Dunlop Super Brights that I have on here right now. I don't normally play the Super Brights, but that's what I have on here now. Trying to tame and got those highs cut. But anyway, thanks for watching. I got to get on to the rest of my day. It ain't rocket science, y'all. It's pocket science. Go check out those links in the description for the questionnaire so I can make better content for you. Peace. Two fingers.